Hi there, my name is Gudrun from Gudrun Crochet and today I am here with a vlog of me knitting the zipper sweater by petiteknit. So welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Gudrun. I am a knitter from Belgium and I'm also a student, and I am sharing my knitting experiences here on YouTube and also on TikTok and Instagram. And I wanted to make a vlog about the project that I have already started on, actually, because I think it's one of my bigger projects of the past year or something, and I wanted to share it a bit more in detail. So I already mentioned it. I'm going to make the Dagmar zipper sweater by petiteknit. Whenever I look for a new knitting project, I always try to find a project that has some details that I haven't done before, and in this sweater it's the type of cables. I have cabled before, but it has like a honeycomb cable. I have never done that before, and also the diamond cables, never done that before. And it also has 1x1 cables, which I've also not done before. So all of these cables are new to me. The combination of the cables is new. I don't think I have done any sweater pattern that I had like several types of cables within one row. Like the Moby sweater, it has like two cables here that go the opposite way, and then the things in the middle aren't really cables. So that's technically first time. And then also the fact that it's a zipper sweater. I have never installed a zipper in my knitwear, so it's also going to be very exciting. You might see me looking that way. That's because I have my project here, because I already started. But I first want to talk about the yarn that I'll be using. So I'll be using BC Garn Loch Lomond. I picked it in this beautiful grey color. It is a tweedy yarn, so you can see it has some lighter speckles in it, which gives a little bit of depth. It is 100% organic wool. BC Garn is very good at having like ethical sourced yarn, so should be ethical yarn. This is a woolen spun yarn, which makes it that you get more yardage for the same amount of weight. So this is 50 grams and 150 meters. So it's still going to be a relatively lightweight sweater in the end. But woolen spun yarn is also a bit less strong than worsted spun, which will be a bit heavier. But to me it's worth it, because in terms of price, it's not a cheap yarn. I think it was... I got 10 skeins and paid in total 75 euros, so that's not cheap. But, you know, one skein for 7.5 euros, I would not buy that if it only had like 75 meters. But since it has 150, you can do quite a lot with it. And the Dagmar zipper sweater is a huge sweater in terms of meterage that you need, because for this sweater I bought 1500 meters, but typically for a sweater on like 4mm needles I'm gonna need around 1200 meters, so I would need less for a normal sweater. This yarn, it says on here, yes. So the gauge for this is 18 stitches and 28 rows, which I think the stitch gauge was the same as in the pattern for the zipper sweater, but the row gauge is a bit different. I think it was less rows needed for the Dagmar, so that scared me a little bit. And it says 4 to 5mm needles, and the Dagmar is knit on 4.5mm needles. Now I forgot to get my gauge swatches. I'll go and grab them for you guys. Just a minute. Okay, I got my gauge swatches because I made two. I made one on the 4.5mm needles, and if I hold it like this, I actually don't see it that bad. Okay, it looked very holey in the beginning, and it was also a bit smaller, so I pinned it to the measurements, and this, I think it's kind of 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. So I was able to hit gauge, was like, oh, it's very holey, maybe I need to size down. So I did that. This is a 4mm needle, and this is way to see through, so we're doing it on 4.5. But I had to stretch this out quite a lot. I don't think if you can even, yeah, you can kind of see the cables in there. And I was like, I don't want to have to stretch it out as much, or I can't assume that I'll be able to stretch it out as much evenly. And I'm normally a size small, so I decided I'm just gonna size up to a size medium. Figured that would be okay. It is a really, really oversized sweater, so if you end up being like if it ends up being 2 centimeters smaller, it should be fine. But I thought I'm gonna do the medium. If it then turns out a lot smaller, it should still be fine. So I have finished, because the Dagmar sweater, it looks like a short row shaping on the back. It's not. It's done with increases. So I have just finished the increases. And as you can see, that looks so small. So I checked again, and this should be the right amount of stitches for a medium, which is, it looks really small. But of course this is pre-block, so pre-stretching it out, and this edge doesn't have a lot of stretch to it. So it's good because it's gonna keep the shape of the garment, but it makes it harder to see how big it is right now. So if I hold it up, it just reaches my shoulders, like the shoulder length width, I guess. So it's not dramatic, but it's not like the oversized fit of the Dagmar. I think the small is supposed to end up being a width of 116 centimeters, and the medium is 4 centimeters bigger. My bust measurement is 90, and if I hold it up to my bust, it just gets like halfway. So not very close to like 116. Is it 160 centimeters? I think it is. Yes, or maybe I'm thinking about stitches. Not sure. Anyways, if I stretch it out a little bit, it gets a bit wider, so I think it will be fine. There's also barely any stitches that will be cast on under the underarm, so this is pretty much the width that it will be. And that concerns me a little bit. As you can see, I have just started adding length. I don't want to have to go back on this and do it even bigger, because 1,500 meters is enough for the medium, but I don't think it will be enough for a large. And I don't know how, like, if you use more or less yarn, if you're like working under gauge. So I think I'm gonna have to trust the process on this and just knit it to pattern and then stretch it out afterwards. Yeah, it is quite concerning. Oh, this is a good side. It is quite concerning that it's looking this tiny. Maybe it's just me, like that it just looks weird. I don't know. I've made quite a few drop shoulder sweaters and I've never had this feeling that it was like tiny. I usually had the feeling it was really big. Like with this, I had the feeling that it was gonna hit like my elbows or something. So if I hold it up, I think it's definitely gonna be smaller than my porcelain, which is also a size medium, by the way. I don't know what the positive ease on this should be and on this compared, but yeah. So this is stressing me out, but we're just gonna go through with it. And I guess we will see. Maybe I will have to do Mid's project block, which I have never done before. But maybe I should do that like once I have like the front and the back connected and we're working in the round. Would that be a good moment? I don't know, we will see. I probably won't do it. I've said in the past a few times that I should do a mid-project block and then end up not doing it. So I can decide to just like follow my gauge swatch, I guess. And then like, because if I hold them next to each other, you can see like the cables are quite a bit bigger than they are here because they're stretched out. But yeah, I don't know. As I said, I'm gonna trust the project process. I'm gonna check in with you guys. Maybe when I finish the entire back, because I have to add quite a lot of length to it. Or maybe when I've already finished the front. I don't know. You will see when I have the time. But yes, so this is it. Also, this is hurting my hands so much. I am doing the cables without a cable needle because I just find that way too fiddly. But I think I work a bit too tight when I do the cables. So when I'm on a full-on cable row, I have to take breaks mid-row. And I'm constantly stretching my hands, like pulling my fingers. Apparently that's good, like my wrists. But it's mostly like my pinky and my thumb, this area on my thumb. That's starts to hurt a little bit, so I have to take lots of breaks. I started this 2 days ago, by the way. I'm filming this on the 3rd of December. I started this on the 1st of December to make it easy to count how long it takes me to make this. But yeah, so this is 2 days of work. It's not bad. It's not that slow. It's not like I have to take that many breaks that I don't make any progress, but I definitely think I could have done this faster if I wouldn't have had any pain. But yes, I'm gonna take this slow. I do not want to get an injury from this sweater. Okay, I've been talking for way too long now, so I will update you guys once I have made some more progress on this. Bye bye. Hi guys, I am back with an update. So it's currently the 8th of December, which means I've been working on this for a week, and I have just finished the back yoke. Oh, cable is stuck. Okay, the back yoke, and I've started the left front. Now, what I did saw some people do is, because in the pattern the cables on the back don't line up. And I saw some people that were able to fix that. So I tried that as well. I don't think you can really properly see. This color is horrible for cables to show. But they're still not fully aligned. I have to say that I didn't fully succeed. But at first I think they were like here and like here or something. Or like more to the bottom, I don't remember exactly. But I was annoyed, I didn't like that. And now I feel they are somewhat aligned. Still not perfect, but I'm happy enough with it. And to do that, I skipped some stitches around here. So you actually have to pick up for every row. I did not do that in the beginning. I picked up some less to make this kind of line up with the cable here. And then, of course, I need to pick up some more after that. And I did that mostly with the broken... Is it broken rib? Now I'm confused. Anyways, I did it on this section. And I did that, but you can't really tell. You can kind of see it in person, but you can't tell on camera. I did it by sometimes picking up like one leg below, like of a stitch, one leg below. Because you can't pick up 2 stitches within the same stitch, of course, because that's just gonna create a loop. But yeah, I think it worked. It is kind of like looking a bit flared out here because I picked up more stitches there. But I think it will be fine once we block it. So that's my only modification that I have made. I made the back following the pattern exactly. So yes, I will now finish this left front, also finish this right front. And then I can't wait until we can finally join in the round. I'm really looking forward to that. It's not like the wrong side rows are not terrible because they're not like fully purling or anything. But I can't wait to have everything going in the rounds. Because I feel like that's gonna be a bit smoother. But yeah. That was my update for now. I will see if I update you guys in a week or sooner or later. I don't know. We will see. And I'm looking forward already to my next update. Bye bye. Okay, I am back with my 3rd update on my Dagmar zipper sweater. It is the 15th of December, so it's been officially 2 weeks of me working on this. I did have some days where I didn't work on it because I was too busy. But anyways, here it is. So as you can see, this is where the zipper will be installed. Of course, I'll also make very thick double folded collar. I'll put it on so you can kind of see. So this is what it's looking like now. Now I think last week I mentioned, did I mention it? Or maybe it was in my Whip Wednesday. One of the two, that I'm not sure whether I'm making it long enough to join it in the round. And compared to this sweater, I am indeed not making it long enough, I think. So the pattern, ooh, my hair's stuck. Okay, the pattern says to make it up to a certain amount of centimeters. And at first I calculated with like the gauge that it should be, how many rows that should be. That was way too short. I think it was like 10 centimeters too short. So I made it a bit longer, but I decided, oh, maybe I'm gonna do it to like a small, and then I got lazy. And then I was like, oh, it's gonna grow. It's gonna grow. But now I'm not so sure that it's gonna grow. And I don't want the sleeves on this to be too small, or like for it to be up in my armpits. And I want to be able to stretch this mostly widthwise. And so I want it to be okay lengthwise. So what I'm gonna do, because now the front and the back are the same length, I would be able to join right now. But I think I'm gonna add like 4 rows maybe to the back, 4 rows to the front. And then I think we should be fine, because I think it would fit. But I just want a little bit more wiggle room. Also with like picking up the stitches, it sometimes cinches it in a little bit. And I don't want to risk it being too small. Now I have heard that the sleeves can be very, very big. So making it longer might make the sleeves bigger. We will see. I just don't want this to be too small. Because if I hold it up to my storm sweater, it is about the same height of the sleeves, so it should be okay, but it is a bit smaller, and I want to be able to get it kind of to the same dimensions as my storm sweater, so I have to stretch it widthwise, and then it does get a little shorter. So we're gonna add some more length to the front and the back before joining in the round. That does mean I will have an extra end to weave in. No, 3 extra ends to weave in, I think. No, two. Which is a bummer, but there are worse things in the world than a few extra ends to weave in. So yes, that's my week 2 updates of my Dagmar zipper sweater. Very close to finally being able to join in the round, and then we will see how long this body takes me and how many updates I will be able to give on that. Okay, see you guys in a little bit when I have another week's worth of work. Bye! Okay, I'm back with another update. It is the 29th of December. I'm sorry, I skipped week 3 because I was busy and the update wasn't that interesting. So last time I saw you guys, it was 15th of December and I had pretty much just finished the front and back. I did end up adding those 4 rows and then joining the round. And now the body is done. The ribbing is done. She's bound off, which took forever. So this is what she looks like. Normally, when I would have followed the pattern, I would have stopped here and started the ribbing. But I decided to add another half a diamond and also like an extra twist, just to have a little bit more length. And now I do really like the length. Now the pattern says to now start the sleeves, but I think I'm gonna start with the whole collar zipper situation because I want to get that out of the way, and that's also something that I don't want to be like cutting corners on this in terms of yardage. I'm pretty sure I will have enough, but I don't want to run into a scare of running out of yarn at this part. I would rather like do a faster decrease on the sleeves or something if I notice that I'm not gonna have enough. So this is my next step gonna be. I read through that part of the pattern, which is like a very big chunk of the pattern, and it wasn't making that much sense to me. I've heard people say that this is not the best explained zipper in all of patterns. It also does not have a video, and I think it has a different construction opposed to the regular zipper sweater by petiteknit, the raglan version. So I also cannot really just check that out. So I will have to just follow the directions and hope that I can make sense of it. And I'm pretty sure that will take me an entire week. Just because this bottom ribbing took me 3 days. And of course it's gonna be longer than this. It's gonna be folded over and longer. So let's say like triple times this length. Yes, it will be less stitches, but still that's gonna be a lot of ribbing. And then the like on the insides of the zipper, it's gonna be, I think it's double knit. So we will see how that goes. Oh yeah, for the bottom ribbing, I, for the first time ever, did combination ribbing. But I don't know if it's that much cleaner than just a regular ribbing. So I'll show you the inside. The inside typically looks better than the outside. I honestly think now my inside looks less clean than it normally does, and the outside looks like a tiny bit better. So it's not a huge difference, but I got used to it pretty quickly, so I didn't mind. But now I have to figure out how to also do combination knitting on the collar, because I don't want my ribbing to look different on the collar, like from the bottom ribbing and the sleeve ribbing. So we're gonna have to figure that out. I also think I don't have enough needles. I think at a certain point you need like a 3mm DPN and like 3mm cable needles, yada yada. I don't have DPNs, we're just gonna fix it and figure it out. So yes, I'm gonna be really happy once I have this entire zipper situation over. I'm not gonna be sewing in the zipper yet. I don't have a zipper yet. I'm gonna be waiting until I've fully finished this and blocked this, so I know the final dimensions that I will need for the zipper, and then I will sew it in. So I don't accidentally sew it in before blocking, then it stretches and it's like all bumpy grumpy. We're not gonna risk that. We're gonna sew in the zipper when she's fully done. So I still have to be patient for that. That's still a difficult step that I have to do in the end. But at least like the biggest chunk of the difficult part will be over. And I think the sleeves will be a breeze. Also, I don't think I should have added the extra rows for the sleeves. I do think this is now a huge sleeve hole. It does come pretty deep. I'm kind of worried that it's gonna cinch up the sweater, but we will see. I have some space for it to slightly get shorter, so it should be fine. But yes, that is my week 4 update on my Dagmar zipper sweater. And we have a finished body. I think for a month's worth of work, that is not bad for a full-on cable sweater. Anyways, I will now struggle with this section, and I will update you guys probably in a week. Bye. Okay, I have another update on my Dagmar zipper sweater. It is currently the 5th of January, it's 2026, yay! And I have been officially working on this sweater for 5 weeks. It's crazy. Last week I had just finished the body and I said I would try and finish the whole zipper situation. I did, except for sewing in the zipper, of course. That's for the end. So I made the folded over collar, and then there's this double knitted band where the zipper will be installed into. I ended up finding a YouTube video. I don't remember who it's by, but I will put it in the description because it was amazing. She went over every single step that she did to make it, the double knitted band. And normally, so this is the inside. Normally the band on the inside stops here, and then here it's just exposed, like your zipper would be exposed. And she added an entire double knitted band all the way to the inside. Oh, I have way too many loose threads here. So this is the inside. The zipper will be installed in there. So it will be fully covered inside and out. That's not in the pattern. She did that and I loved the way it looked with her. So I decided to do the same. It was a bit of a hassle. My fingers were hurting that much. It's on 3mm needles. My only 3mm needle that I have is a metal one, and it's very, very pointy. And on my left index finger I had like a red dot from constantly pushing it with the double knitting. So that wasn't the most comfortable thing ever. But you know, we got it done. I didn't end up needing the double pointed 3mm needle. I could just do it with 2 needles and I was just fine. But yeah, as you can see, I have a lot. When I say a lot, I mean a lot of ends to weave in from like all different steps. So that's gonna be a pain in the ass. But I really, really, really like how this looks. And let me just quickly try it on. Okay, so this is what it's looking like right now. I did have too few stitches picked up for the color. I think like I had 13 stitches too little or something. I don't know how, because I really picked up in the right rates that the pattern mentioned, and then I didn't have enough stitches. I decided to ignore that because I felt like it was still wide enough, and indeed there's like still gonna be a zipper in here. It's slightly tighter than the pattern, but I think I can still, like, I have a lot of stretch. I can slightly block that out, and then I can even put my face in there. But I did knit it to the length that the pattern specified. Just imagine, ignore all of the ends. Imagine there's a zipper in there, like zip, zip, gorgeous. So I'm very, very happy with that. Now it's still sleeve situation. It is still very deep. I added in those 4 rows. I still did not hit the length that the pattern said it should be. I think I'm like 2 centimeters shorter. And I'm actually thinking I'm gonna pick up the stitches around the armhole in the rate that she specifies in the pattern and see how many stitches I have too much. And if it is a significant amount, I am going to sew part of the underarm shut and then pick up stitches on the remainder of the area that I have and try to get to the correct amount. Just because I A, don't want a sleeve that's way, way, way too big, and B, I don't want to just pick up the recommended amount of stitches if there's too many rows, because I will completely cinch it in, and I don't want it to be cinched in too much. So that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna see if it works. I am working off gauge, so it might be due to that, but we will see. I think upwards, the amount of stitches of a size large, which is the size bigger than I am making, is what I am okay with, since I am working off gauge. But yeah, we will see. I will try and note that down. I don't think it's that difficult to sew like 3 rows or something shut in the stitch, so it should be fine. And then I hope that it also blocks out a bit, because now it's a bit snug and I don't want that. But yes, so that's it for this week. It took me an entire week to make the collar and like the double knit pants and stuff. I didn't knit on New Year's Eve, none of this project at least, so that's one day that I didn't knit on it. But yeah, now we are on to Slave Island, baby, which I usually do enjoy. So I think from here on out it's gonna go a bit quicker, but we will see. See you guys next week. Bye. Okay, so it is now the 12th of January. I think this means I've been working on this for 6 weeks. And so last week I finished the collar. I've been working on the first sleeve, which is far from being done. And I don't know how I'm feeling about the fit of the sweater. I'll put it on so you can see. So I know it's not as oversized as it's supposed to be, but I do have some space and I do think blocking is gonna help a little bit. But just the whole sleeve situation, I feel like I have a lot of fabric here that isn't supposed to be there. But again, I might be able to fix that with blocking. I don't know. I am like a few rows short of where the sample from petiteknit ends to starts adding ribbing, but I still need a lot of length. So I'm going to be adding either half a diamond or a full diamond. Now my body, I ended on a little twist. I think the chances are very big that I will end on half a cable at sleeves, which kind of I don't like it that it's not gonna end on the same part, but I would rather have the sleeve to fit correctly. So we're gonna have to prioritize that. But yeah, I mean, it could be worse, but you can see like this fabric is just acting a bit weird. And it makes you decrease quite often on the sleeve, which I feel like it makes the sleeve look almost like a triangle with this. And I don't know what I think about that look. I'm following the pattern here, so I was able to pick up the correct amount of stitches without it cinching in too much. And then just decreasing as often as she said that you have to, and I don't know if I love that look, but I think I'm just gonna finish it, follow the pattern, block it, and then we will see. If I absolutely hate it, I will redo the sleeves. Amazing. Also, the sleeve is not using a lot of yarn. So this is what I have left of this ball, and this is the same ball that I also used for a part of the collar. So, I mean, that's nice, because I will definitely have yarn left over. So if I have to do any adjustments, it's okay. I have some spare yarn. Also, wow. Can you see how many ends I've got on this thing? It's gonna be an absolute nightmare to sew in. I should probably already start to sew in some of these ends, but I'm just procrastinating. Anyways, that's it for this week. I think sleeve number 1 will be finished by next week, and of course sleeve number 2 will not. That's gonna take another week and a half, I think. I don't know, maybe I will have just finished the first sleeve. That's also possible, I don't know. But yes, that's it for week 6. I am pretty sure this project is gonna take me at least 2 months in total, so that's crazy because I'm usually a pretty fast sweater finisher, but this sweater is really slowing me down, and I'm kind of loving it to not be constantly finishing things. I think this is better. Slow fashion, guys. Anyways, see you guys next week. Bye. I'm back for week 7, I think, of my Dagmar zipper sweater. It is the 19th of January today, and I have finished the first entire sleeve. And I am making a lot of progress on the second sleeve. So I only have to do a few more rows. I think 4 more rows, and then I can start the ribbing on this one. I'm really speeding up on this one because I'm leaving on holiday soon, and I want to have the ends sewn in and block it before I leave, so it's dry by the time I come back, and then I can go to the yarn store, get a zipper, sew it in, because then a few days later I'm leaving on another holiday, and I want to take this with me on that second holiday. The first one is impossible, I fear, but I will try it on. I haven't tried it on actually since I started the second sleeve, so that's exciting to see. There we go. Okay, so still of course not as oversized as I want it to be, but I'm really hoping that blocking can do quite a bit. But I do think that it's already sitting quite a lot better, and I mean, I do have positive E, so we'll be fine. But yes, I cannot wait to have this finished. I think the cables are at a nice position on the sleeves. I think I didn't mention this with my first sleeve because I kind of did it on accident there. But with the first sleeve, when picking up the stitches, so this is the kind of the pickup edge for the front piece. So I did increases for the back, and then on the front I picked up from here. It's this line. It kind of matches up with this honeycomb cable, and then I also wanted that for the second sleeve. Now I had to do some frogging and retrying and counting to get it to match up, and it's not 100%, but it is like kind of aligning there. So that also means that my cable position on the shoulder is gonna be similar on this 2 sides. I don't think it's exactly the same, but you know, I just wanted it to be kind of similar and not have the cable like slanted to one side on one arm. So yes, and for that I did a similar thing as with the back pickup, where I also shuffled around the stitches in order to have this kind of lined up. But yes, that is it. I'm just now gonna finish sleeve, sew in the ends. I will not give an update on week 8 because I will not be in the country and I will not have this with me because it should be drying at that moment. So my next update will be post blocking and right before I sew in the zipper, and then I'll update you guys again once the zipper is sewn in, which is gonna be an experience. But yes, very happy. I do have to take a lot of breaks because I'm powering through this and it makes my hands hurt when I've been knitting for too long. But I'm so close to finishing the cables that I'm gonna start one by one ribbing, and that's a breeze on my hands. So close to the finish line. I can't wait to have this finished to be able to wear it. Okay, see you guys once I am back from my first holiday with hopefully a blocked and dried Dagmar zipper sweater. Okay, I tried on my Dagmar zipper sweater. She is done. It is now the 20th of January, so my last update was yesterday. I managed to finish the second sleeve and also sew in the ends. And I wanted to show what it looks like pre-blocking. So as you can see, I don't have too much positive ease. I do have some positive ease, so that's already very positive. But the bottom is flaring out, so the ribbing is flaring out. So I'm gonna have to stretch out the body part to make it the same width as the ribbing, or even a little bit wider. I prefer that. So it doesn't flare out anymore. And another thing that I have is if I'm wearing this, the front tends to ride up a bit and fall to the back, which makes the flaring out worse. But also then I cannot properly close this without it being like all the way up there. So I'm gonna have to try with blocking to make sure that the front and back of the body really line up, so this sits nice to the front so I can easily close it without it sitting weird. But yeah, so this is her pre-blocking and pre-zipper, of course, because I'm gonna install that after blocking. But yes, I wanted to quickly update you guys so you can see what it looks like before blocking, and it hopefully fits a bit less awkward afterwards. Okay, that's it. I will update once she is all done. Okay, so she's finished blocking. Still don't have a zipper though, but she really grew in terms of width. She also really got a nice drape. Sleeves grew a bit. I do think I have enough space around the neck. One thing is though that it still falls back with moving. So then this ends up being pretty high and it should be more like this. So I'm hoping that with installing the zipper and if I have it closed, that it will stay in place. In terms of length, I don't think it really grew. It mainly grew in terms of width. On the sleeves as well, it became a bit looser. I still have like the seam of where it like was folded during drying, so I'm hoping that kind of evens out with wear, as well as on the body. But yes, she became really oversized. I really didn't expect this, but I am kind of loving it though. So, and she's really warm. She looks a bit flimsy almost due to the drape, but I do think it still has enough structure to look like a zippered sweater. So yes, very happy with it. I am going to go into the city this afternoon to go and buy a zipper and then sew it in, and then I'll be done. I'm so excited. Okay, she's officially done. So it is now the 31st of January, so the last day of January. I finished sewing in the zipper yesterday. So it is now Saturday. On Thursday I went into the city to find a zipper, couldn't find one. And yesterday by car I went to a different store and I did find a zipper, but it was about 10 centimeters too long. So I had to shorten it. And then I was able to sew it in, which was my first time ever sewing a zipper. I think it took me a total of like 2.5 hours and I was sweating. So I took off the sweater that I was wearing. My cheeks were like red and like warm to the touch because I was just so stressed that I was gonna make a mistake. But I actually think she looks very nice. So I don't have any wobbling. It does go in like a little bit, but I think that's just the natural shape of how a color like this is gonna sit, because if I lay it down, it lies completely flat. And it goes up and down very easily. I also added a stop, but you can't see it, so automatically stops before it gets to the fabric, doesn't snag on anything. It's not perfectly symmetrical. Definitely on the insides, not everything looks as clean as it could look, but I think definitely for a first time, it does look pretty damn neat. And so this is the inside because I added the extra lining. My zipper is fully covered everywhere. I'll put in some pictures of what the inside looks like because I tucked the bottom of the zipper inside the little flap that I made, sewed it shut. So everything looks pretty nice and clean and relatively professional, but you can see, I think, that here it's not the same distance from the zipper everywhere as it is on this side. It has a bit more space here. It doesn't snag or anything, so it's not a bad thing, but it is noticeable to me, but I don't think it will be noticeable to anyone else. I have been wearing it now today, and I still get the sense that it falls back a bit, so now it's up against my neck, and I prefer it if it sits more to the front, that I have some space here. And I do have to readjust it a few times while wearing it to make sure that it doesn't go back while wearing it. I don't know if there's any way to fix that. But yeah, I still really like it. I love the way the zipper fits. I love the way the sweater fits. It is nice and cozy, nice and warm, and I'm really, really happy that this project is finally over because I liked it, don't get me wrong. It's a lovely pattern, it's very fun to work on, but I was getting sick of it. And I'm so happy that I got it over with, that the zipper went smoothly, and that is now a part of my wardrobe. And I think I'll wear it a lot. So yes, that was it for this very, very long video of me just rambling about this project. If you made it this far, thank you very much. Consider liking and subscribing, that would really help me. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Happy knitting, bye!